G'day guys, kia ora, my name is Wildkard. Yes, it's very, very cold here in Sydney, and yes, I did watch some European rugby on the weekend. It's actually quite good. Actually quite good. I didn't do a review because I don't want to spend like the whole video talking about players that I don't really know. But hey, it was really, really good. Watched the Champions Cup finals, semi-finals, and the Challenger Cup, one of the Challenger Cup semi-finals. And yeah, so first I watched Bordeaux Bagels, the Bordeaux Bagels versus Bath. Uh, this was like really, really, really good game. The Bagels was incredible. Bagelers, sorry, I'm just calling them Bagels because I don't speak French. The Bordeaux the Bordeaux Bagels was like just all out rugby. It was just crazy. They had Damien Pennold, they had Luku, and it was just like attacking rugby, just relentless, ruthless attacking rugby. Both team were just going at it. The Baglers was just like pretty much dominating, like physically and just like in terms of speed from Pennold, just physically or just and the kicking game was just like dominating Bath for the most part. And then the second half, it looks like the Baglers was running out of steam a little bit, and you're like, oh my god, maybe the Bath was just like slowly catching up. Maybe Finn Russell could pull out something like 200 IQ play and win this one. But no, Baglers did not capitulate. They kept the foot down on the gas. Didn't go capitulate and try to kick a bunch of penalties and eke out a close win. They kept the pressure on. And then sure enough, Bath actually just like, it was like almost like watching a dam burst, just like cracked in the last maybe 10-15 minutes. And the Baglers just pushed away with a substantial win, 38 points to 26. Very, very impressive. Just yeah, like relentless, really, really good rugby for both teams actually. On the other hand, I watched Leinster versus Toulon. Yeah, this wasn't nearly as good. In fact, my prediction for the final is that I would be a little bit surprised if Leinster actually wins the finals against the Baglers. To be fair, I really think that the Baglers was, on another level on the way that they played, and just mentally, and physically was, more ambitious in terms of the style that they were bringing onto the table. Leinster, on the other hand, and Toulon as well, both teams just started kicking penalty goals like right away. And at one point, Leinster was yellow carded back to back and went down to 13 players. And they finally were like, okay, let's play some rugby, guys. Let's not kick penalty goals. Let's play some rugby, which was actually quite smart, right? I talk about this a lot. The Kiwis like to talk about, if you go down to a 14 player, run the clock down, boys. Run the clock down, kick a penalty, and run off a minute off the clock. The Leinster actually did the right thing because it's actually easier to attack than to defend with 13 players. So they attacked with 13 and actually got a yellow card as a result of their attacking, which was like the best bit of rugby they played the whole game. When they were down to 13, they got a yellow card, so like they would end up playing 13 against 14. And then there was one point where there was probably about 10-15 minutes left on the clock, and it was looking like in fact, it was so funny because even the commentators were like, "Yeah, the Leinster's was like way ahead. It was like 29 points, like 12 or something, or 15 or something at that point. Not even 15, like way off, right?" And it was only about 15 minutes left, and the commentators was kind of like, "Yeah, I think Leinster's got this one in the bag," and only for too long, just like coming back. And there was one point, the Leinster almost lost this one. Leinster almost lost this game in a game where they like dominated for the most part. Even with 13 players, yes, they almost pretty much dominated with even 13 players. There was at the end, Toulon, like there was one play where Toulon made a break, and the support runner on the inside like knocked the ball on. If they had not knocked the ball on and they went through, scored that, Toulon would have won this game. This was like 2 minutes left on the clock. It was crazy, and it was because I just think like how Leinster played the best bit of rugby when they were 13, and then only to like completely fall apart when they were leading by a lot, leading into the last 15 minutes. It just gives me a little bit of a. It just obviously you're not surprised that the Irish national team plays like this a little bit because it's I don't know what this is. I don't know how they got to the. I don't know. Yeah, I really not sure how this is a thing. Like you could be winning so much and then you just like completely, almost losing the game, like choking so hard that you're almost losing the game. And then it's just like, and then also like you have so much talent on the field. Somehow they got Rico Ioane play a winger, right? I mean, the All Blacks could not get him to play winger, and they had to beg him and pay him more money and whatnot. Nah, he wants to play outside center, and he goes to Leinster, and suddenly he's playing winger again. Like, it's something that I felt like he's always better at than playing outside center. And also, the Leinster managed to get Geordie Barrett to play fullback as well, right? So, yeah, when you're a Leinster, you just shut up and do what you're told, I guess. And again, this is one of the things where is Leinster just like ruling all the players with the iron fist, and then just and yeah, like there's maybe the players are being squeezed so hard by management. This is why they're choking, right? Because they're panicking and they're all suddenly like under a bit of pressure, and things just start falling apart. Yeah, it's really interesting game, but it just says a lot about Leinster. And yeah, and then the Prendergast came on late in the second half. But yeah, it was just crazy. Like I could not believe that they almost lost this one, and I could not believe that the best part of the performance was that they were down to 13 players. And it was just a bizarre game to watch. So yeah, going to the finals. I'm a little bit. I will be very surprised if Leinster actually wins the finals. I'm very like keen to see this game now. Be very surprised if Leinster actually lose to the Beglers. The Beglers, I was very impressed by the performance. To be really frank with you, and yeah, I'll be very surprised if Leinster beats them in the final. Now let's quickly look at the Challenger Cup. I did not actually watch Ulster versus Exeter. I'm sorry, I did watch Ulster versus Exeter. I did not watch Montpellier versus Dragons. I know I watched some other Montpellier games. I know Tom Banks is playing at Montpellier. I know Miltic, what's his name? Domingo, the Argentinian guy, plays for the 10. Miltic, who used to play for the Western Force. So a couple of players that I do recognize playing at Montpellier. Is it Montpellier? Is it Montpellier or Clermont? Do they play at? Actually, not too sure. I haven't watched this game, but I'm gonna watch it. Pretty sure they play at Montpellier, right? Or is it Clermont? Anyway, but I did watch the Ulster versus Exeter game. The Len Iketel was on the field. Henry Slade, a bunch of English team. What's his name? Hooper was on as well. Tom Hooper was playing for Exeter as well. But Angus Bell was not playing for Ulster. He was hurt. He's hurt. I'm pretty sure he's got a toe injury. He's not going to be back for this one. But yeah, Ulster pretty dominant. The Exeter was never really looked like they had a chance, to be honest. The defense was just too good. And the backline, despite having Len Iketel in it, didn't really pose that much of a threat, in my opinion. Couldn't really crack the Ulster defense too much. And yeah, it was disappointing, to be honest. I was expecting a bit more from Exeter, considering how much talent they had from the English team, from the English national team as well. And with Iketel and Hooper, just so it was a little bit disappointing to say the least. So anyway, let's move on and talk about some of the news. Following the weekend, there's a couple of big injuries that's is starting to stack up against the locks for the Springboks for Rassie Erasmus. Knowing Rassie Erasmus is probably going to put a proper lock or something, and it's going to work out just fine, right? But John Klein has been put onto the injury list for Munster. And this actually kind of, what is it? This actually, starting to put a bit of pressure on the Springboks locking setup. So, Achilles Sneeman's already out ACL. Eben Esbers is got a hip injury. Saman Morad is hurt. So, then now we got, John Klein. That's 4 world-class locks out of the picture for the Springboks. They have plenty more. They got locks everywhere, literally. The whole, the entire country is full of locks, but still, that is 4 very top level locks. You still got Mostert, and you still got Diacha, and there's still locks available, but it is getting a little bit a little bit tight because Springboks do like to have extra locks on the bench as well. So it's not just the starting two that you're going to consider about, but you got to consider the finishers, the bomb squad. So yeah, it is starting to look a little bit tight for the Springboks there. There was an injury to. I did watch this game as well. Kobe's Reinach had an MCL injury against the Glasgow Warriors. This was, I think, 2 weeks ago. Was this 2 weeks ago? This was like almost 2 weeks ago where they played against Glasgow, who was like there was a clash of top two between the two teams where Stormers played really back the week before, and this week they did really good. And it was like that. There was a prob. Mchunu, the big prob, scored like 2 tries. They probably put him at lock, as far as I can tell. Probably do that anyway. But yeah, this guy limped off the field. So Reinach, again, a huge guy for the Springboks setup. But he's kind of like towards the end of his career now, so it's probably not too much of a loss, to be really frank with you. The RFU did the review for England's terrible Six Nations this season, and Bill Sweeney, has decided to back Steve Borthwick. You know, they're not going to do the Eddie Jones thing again where they're going to fire him 2 years before the Rugby World Cup. Not making that mistake again. It's good. It's good to see that Bill Sweeney and the England Rugby has grown, right? Learn from their mistakes, grown a little bit, and actually grow a little bit, build a little bit of brain cells leading into the Rugby World Cup. So did not fire Steve Borthwick despite the poor performance. They did an internal review. They said it's not strategically good idea to reveal to everybody what is wrong, but they did say there were multiple interconnected failures that they were able to see to get out of from the review, and they did not review exactly what it is, but they are backing Borthwick. Stockdale suffered a facial fracture, so he's going to be out for a little bit. Maybe probably won't see him in July here in Australia, which is disappointing. Hugo Keenan, God, the guy who scored against the Wallabies in the second test in the final try, has re-signed with Leinster to 2028. And now we've got talking about this. And then finally, Halfpenny has announced retirement from All Rugby. He's retired from test matches like a couple of years ago, I think. All Rugby by the end of the year. So a Welsh legend and a Lions legend as well, not forget, Lee Halfpenny. Now moving on to Super Rugby. So last weekend was a crazy round, in my opinion. Hurricanes versus Crusaders, 38-31, pretty big win. 2 tries that were questionable for both teams. From the TMO, was pretty bad refereeing. And then Waratahs versus the Western Force. My goodness, the Western Force absolutely dominated Waratahs in the spreadsheet game. This was, in fact, a very spreadsheet game. Lots of kicking, and just the Waratahs kicking game was absolutely horrendous. And the coach came out and talked about, Dan McKellar was talking about, I kind of feel sorry for him a little bit. Talk about how, they couldn't really do anything. They haven't got the ball. The fact that you haven't got the ball because your kicking game was so bad, it couldn't get out of your own half. And that's the reason. And there was criticism against like how they should run Swali'i, and they were saying they should put Swali'i at wing. I don't like that. I don't think that's the right decision because Swali'i has the talent to be. You want the player to play the position that is most suited for his talent, not in the position where you think he's gonna score most tries, right? So there was a lot of like the Stan Sport pundits come out and talk about how they want to put him in the back three, and I don't agree because yes, he might score more tries, but his talent as a rugby league player, his physicality, is the offload, is the the speed in rush defense that he's working on. It just needs to keep improving on that, and he needs to improve more on the pressure around the breakdowns, right? And maybe pressure some of the kicking game a little bit more. But just it's such a outside center is such a difficult, such a important position. You want your most talented player to play that position. You don't want to just be like, well, let's put him on the wing so can put a few more highlights for Stan Sport. That's not the way to go about it. You need to utilize him the most. It's like it's like if you have Tanela Tupou, right? As good as he might be as a impact player off the bench, and put him at number 8 and just crash the ball a bunch of times and maybe score a try. His talent is most suited to play tight end prop. And other number 8s could not play tight end prop because they just don't have the talent for it and physicality for it, right? And Tupou, despite probably could be a very, very good number 8, he's better to be at a tight end prop. So, it's kind of like that with Swali as well. I think it's about just keeping going at outside center, and it's more about, and in fact, the thing is, it's not like Jorgensen is scoring all the tries nowadays. No one is setting up anything. It doesn't look like they're losing the kicking game. It doesn't look like their attack was. It doesn't look like they have an idea where they want to attack. It was very clear and obvious. The Western Force knew exactly where and who they want to target. The up and unders, setting up Lomax against Crichton like 5 times or something, and then set up Peach against Jorgensen a number of like 3 or 4 times as well. Just the Western Force knew exactly the people to target, but the Waratahs didn't have any idea. They're just punting the ball down the field, and it's like, someone get that, please. Yeah, that's my little rant. Virginia Jura over the Highlanders, first time wing. Again, this was very hot, and Highlanders struggle with handling, just like every other team. But yeah, only one team that Juras hasn't been yet, which is the Blues. Moana Pacifica lost to the Blues, 19 points to 45. The Moana Pacifica was really good. They came out and did some of the Springboks play. They did the line out in the middle of the field, like they passed the ball to a lifter and set up a more in the middle of the field. That was pretty fun to watch. So yeah, Moana Pacifica again. I like teams who's willing to go outside of the box flat. And the final, the Reds versus Brumbies, pretty dominating. I think one-sided affair. The Brumbies had a bit of momentum in the second half, early in the second half, and they just couldn't quite able to follow that through. They had a one line out more. I talked about in my review, was horrendous. But yeah, it was no surprise to me. Anyway, the coming in this week, Crusaders versus the Blues. This will be at the new stadium again. Blues have Beauden Barrett on the bench once again, and yeah, this will be interesting. I mean, Stephen Perifetta played much better at 10 last week in the second half, but he really lacked in the first half. So the coaching staff will be wanting to look to get a full 60-minute performance out of him before Beauden comes on to clean everything up. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he goes against the Crusaders, a much tougher team this week. And then we'll get Reds versus Chiefs. It's really tough. This will be in the Suncorp, so Chiefs, the Reds might win this one, hopefully. And then we've got the Landers versus the Waratahs at Dunedin under the roof. Boy, I feel like both teams will end up just kicking penalty goals, and probably the Waratahs going to lose as a result of that. It's just how it is. Moana Pacifica versus Hurricanes. I think Hurricanes probably going to win this one. Brumbies versus Western Force in Canberra. I think the Western Force have what it takes to win against the Brumbies here. But the Western Force is on the road for 2 weeks in a row now. They're being in Sydney last week, and they're going to go to Canberra this weekend. So they've been out of Western Australia for quite some time now. And I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. I think they're probably just being out on the road for a bit too long, and maybe that's going to cost them this weekend on the against the Brumbies. But I really hope the Western Force put a good show, and based on some of the numbers that they put out against the Waratahs, they definitely have the talent, and I'm actually really keen to see them play again. I think they're doing really, really well, and hopefully, no goal kicking, and just don't have Lomax score a try or something. That'll be really, really, really awesome. So yeah, let's have a look at the lineup for the Waratahs game against the against Moana Pacifica. So coming in number 1, we've got Isaac Kalea, Ethan Dubbins number 2, Daniel Botha back from suspension. He's only banned for 1 game. I thought it was banned for 2. But anyway, Miles Amatosero comes up from the bench to number 4. Angus Blythe retains number 5 jersey. Angus Scott Young retains number 6. Charlie Gamble number 7. Pete Sumble number 8. Jay Gordon comes in at number 9 as captain. Jack DePressini moves up from the bench to number 10. Sid Harvey retains number 11 jersey. Lawson Crichton moves from 10 to 12. He was under the pumps from the kicking game last week. He did pretty good, to be honest. Really, really good. He actually did better than Jorgensen under the high ball, believe it or not, against Lomax. So it was definitely well done. He's moved to 12. Hopefully he can set up something for Swali, who's at 13. Andrew Callaway returns number 14. Max Jorgensen retains fullback jersey number 15. On the bench, Waratahs got Flaufai Ngata, number 16. Jack Barrett comes in number 17. Number 18, Polisi Ranawai, finishing number 18. He was really good. He came off the bench, tight head prop. I've seen him like on the bench quite a bit in the suit, and he went on, and the scrum actually struggled a bit in the first half and looked a lot better in the second half. Stabilized and didn't just collapse and giving away the penalty immediately. So really, really good. Number 19, Glenn Halaholo. Number 20, Lefi Taina. Number 21, Teddy Wilson. Number 22, Jack Bowen. Number 23, Harry Potter. Harry Potter is back. For the Highlanders, coming number 1, we've got Ethan de Groot. Number 2, Jack Taylor. It's going to be so tough on the scrummaging. Number 2, Jack Taylor. Number 3, Angus Tarver. Despite having, like, literally 2 All Blacks, in tight head and loose head for the Highlanders, they really hasn't been able to capitalize that in the scrum as much as I was expecting, to be really frank with you. Thomas Lavanini as well, number 4. The one of the best locks for, like, in the world, plays for Argentina. So again, this should be, I feel like the Highlanders is underperforming in the scrums a little bit. Coming number 5, Mitchell Dangshe. Number 6, Tekamaka Howden. Number 7, Lucas Casey. Number 8, Nicola Broughton. Number 9, Adam Lennox. Number 10, Cameron Miller. Number 11, Jonah Lowe. Number 12, Timothy Tavatava. Number 13, Jonah Nadeki. Number 14, Caleb Tangitao. Number 15, Jacob Ratumai Tavuki Nipkins. On the reserves, Saon Vikena. Number 17, Daniel Lennon Brown. Number 18, Saula Mau. Number 19, Oliver Haig. Number 20, Sean Whitty. Number 21, Nick Shearer. Number 22, Tang Robinson. And number 23, Xavier Tito Harris, finishing off the Landers. So, yeah, moving on. The Western Force versus Brumbies this weekend lineup for the Western Force. We've got Tom Robertson, number 1. Bahanga Mosa, number 2. Harry Johnson Holmes, number 3. Jeremy Williams, number 4. Darcy Swain, number 5. Nick Champion de Creeping, number 6. Carlo Tazzano, number 7. Violini Ikuasi comes in number 8. Number 9, Henry Robinson. Number 10, Ben Donaldson. Number 11, Dylan Peach. Number 12, Hamish Stewart. Number 13, George Bridge. Number 14, Zach Lomax. Number 15, Mac Greeley. Greeley was really, really good. I mean, this Western Force team is looking so bloody good, to be really honest with you. On the replacement, number 16, Nick Dolly. Number 17, Marley Pierce. Number 18, Seth Fayangasi. Number 19, Franco Malia. Again, another Argentinian international. Number 20, Will Harris, former Waratah. Number 23, Nathan Hasty. Number 22, Bailey Kunzu. Number 23, Curly Beale. Man, this Western Force team, I really hope they put out upset against the Horsies, right? The Horsies heading to the glue factory, hopefully. Coming in number 1, James Slipper. Lachlan Nolligan, number 2, has been moved up from the bench. Number 3, Alan Alatoa. Number 4, Nick Frost. Number 5, Lachlan Shaw. Number 6, Robert Valentini. Number 7, Rory Scott. Number 8, Toby McPherson. Number 9, Ryan Lonergan. Number 10, Declan Meredith. Number 11, Corey Toole. Number 12, David Filuai. Number 13, Hudson Crichton. Number 14, Ollie Sapsford. Number 15, Tom Wright. Finishers, we've got Billy Pollard. We've got Blake Soup. Reese Van Neck comes in number 18. We've got Caden Neville. Number 20, Chris Meckelson. Number 21, Clayton Thorne. Number 22, Ted Edmond. Number 23, Andy Muirhead. I'm just so surprised that for the whole season, they don't have the balls to start Tang Edmond at all, right? Like, it's only got, 3 rounds left for them. They got a bye coming up, so Tang Edmond spends the whole season on the bench. Anyway, moving on to New Zealand. Scooter has been talking, so obviously he's taken this season off, and he's had a bit of a surgery on his leg, and he's coming back to kind of trying to get back in shape. And the report is saying that he's not really getting into the getting back in the way that the coaches were hoping that he would be. So obviously, he's taken the whole year off. I'm not sure if he's actually going to come in and play if he's actually going to go on tour. He's actually going to go on to the All Blacks tour. By the looks of it, they're trying to set him up to go to the All Black tour, but then that's not exactly like a year-long sabbatical. I thought he wanted to take the whole year off, not just Super Rugby season. But anyway, it looks like they want to get him back. But it's been reviewed from the Crusaders that he's actually hasn't gone as smoothly as they had hoped. The rehab and other parts are not quite, quite quite as good as they were going. So there was a bit of a cause of concern. Yeah, Scooter. That's not good news. He's a tough guy. I don't think I think it's just take some time to get himself back into it. Maybe just hasn't been working out quite as much as he was. Would take some. I mean, he's 32 now, so it's if you let himself go a little bit in terms of dieting and training, it might take some time for him to get back into shape again. It might take him quite a bit of time before he can get back to a professional athlete again, because he's 32 now. It's not like 25 where you can drink some beers and be completely fine the next week. If he's been not taking care of himself, he might take some time before he actually can get back into Super Rugby. And if in fact that is the case, hopefully just take some time off and get don't forget about traveling to South Africa. Just focus on getting back to it next year for the Rugby World Cup, and really just take some time off, go on holiday or something for he's had a surgery. It's not really having a holiday, is it? Right? He's just had surgery and he's probably like trying to rehab and everything. Not really a holiday. It's still work essentially. So maybe just take some time off and go for a break. Anyway, Steve Lancaster, the interim New Zealand Rugby CEO, has been announced as the CEO. He's to replace Robinson for New Zealand Rugby. Well, only time will tell how he goes. Dave Rooney gets a new guy. So Don Tricker has been added to New Zealand Rugby as a high performance director. So that's a new role added into New Zealand Rugby, which is good. Just want to see that Beauden Barrett. My God, that's just so weird. It looks so weird in the blonde hair. It looks like he's wearing makeup. Like, what is going on? Like, it looks so weird. But no, very pretty though. Very, very pretty. But just like he looks like he's wearing makeup, doesn't he? Anyway, Carter Gordon will be returning this weekend for the Reds, coming off the bench. So the July test coming up for the Wallabies. Obviously, Schmidty is still contracted to coach the Wallabies for the July test series. And as part of the transition, they're going to have Les Kiss to be involved in the selection process for the players performing in July. So they're going to be co-coaching essentially, something that Joe Schmidt and Les Kiss has worked before in Ireland. So when Joe Schmidt was the head coach in Ireland, Les Kiss was the assistant for him in the past. So they've worked together before. So I wouldn't say any issues there. And just really nice how this is how you're supposed to transition head coaches, which I do like. Not just you're fired. Let's find somebody else. Put in your applications, please, guys. This is how you're supposed to do it, and I really like that. Next up, Dylan Pitch has signed to 2028, which is incredibly good news for us. And finally, lots of private equity is looking at investing in rugby, which is interesting. And one of the second-tier team in England has been getting as one of the latest teams to get money from private equity, the Cornish Pirates. So it's interesting, and I've been thinking about private equity a little bit here for Australian rugby as a result of this. The Western Force is the only team at the moment that is owned by private equity, and that is owned by Twiggy. Forrest, I keep calling him Foster. Forrest, Andrew Forrest, the guy that owns Four Clues, I think the name is, the mining FMG. I know the stock code, FMG, the ASX ticker, but the actual name of the company is something like that. Foreskew, 4Clue, 4Q or something. But yeah, he's quite loaded with lots of money. $1 million houses here in Sydney as well, and he's the one that I think he's put a pretty good money together for the Western Force. Up in my understanding, there's a salary cap, so he can't just throw money at the team like whatever. There is a salary cap for the West for all the Super Rugby teams. In Australia, I think it's 5.5 million. In New Zealand, it's 4.5 million. Surprisingly, but the talk is that the New Zealanders get reimbursed for the All Blacks. So the All Blacks player actually gets like double or maybe even triple the amount of what our players will get in maybe even more than that in Super Rugby is in Super Rugby. So like I think the average is about 200K in Super Rugby, whereas in the All Black could get up to like 500,000 to like 1 million, even north of north of close to 1 million. So a lot of the All Blacks gets reimbursed a lot. That's outside of the salary cap, and then the 4.5 million salary cap for the teams. The players can earn additional money playing for the NPC, which could be like 20 to 50,000 a year. So if you're earning like 200K and then you play NPC, you could earn up to 250K if you're a top player. So like, Luke Jacobson will be a good example. He didn't play All Blacks last year, I don't think. Or maybe just on the border of the All Blacks. So he will be getting like at least 200 for Super Rugby and then another 50K for NPC. So 250K a year for Jacobson at least. So that's in addition to the All Blacks. So pretty much everyone in Super Rugby player will be getting another 50K on top. So even though it looks like New Zealand Rugby is a little bit less, each team has like 40 players. We can just do quick maths, right? And if each player gets an extra 50K for playing an NPC or involved in an NPC, minimum, all right, if they don't get involved in NPC, it's because they're getting paid from the All Blacks. So that's like 50K. What is it? That's an extra 2 million per team just from NPC funding alone on the salary, right? Because 50K per player, you got 40 players. Probably not all 40 players will get it, right? Probably like probably like 1 mil at least. So it ends up about the same. And the Wallaby for the Wallaby players, they don't get the NPC 50K bonus, but they get a bit more from Super Rugby to begin with, and then they get the reimbursed from the Wallabies. So we'll take the Wallaby, the All Blacks deals cancels out. So the NPC deal basically fills out the extra gap in terms of $1 million gap between the two sides. So yeah, it kind of works out to be the same. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. There were some rumors saying that New Zealand Rugby pays a lot more. It's not, doesn't seem like the case unless maybe they pay a bit more for the All Blacks players, but I don't think that's the case. It doesn't look like significantly more, but yeah, maybe you might even be argued that New Zealand players get a bit less because the Kiwi dollar is a bit weaker. So even if they do get 5.5 million, it's weaker. It's still like 5 million equivalent of Australian dollars. But anyway, thanks for watching. That's all the news for this week. Like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys this weekend for the reviews. Have a good one. Cheers.